ready for your headliner here tonight, your featured performer? All right, you guys have been a fantastic audience up to this point in time, and I know that's going to continue once again. This gentleman has made Canada his home, he's made specifically New Brunswick and St. John his home. You know him, you love him. Please welcome to the stage my good friend, Mr. James Mullinger.
This is really happening! Yes! Oh my God, you have no idea how happy I am to see all of you. Real faces! A real comedy club, it's not a Zoom gig. I'm not staring at little faces on a computer screen, actual people. I've literally been looking forward to this for a year. I've got to take this in for a minute. Oh, it is so nice to see you all. Thank you for being here. What a special time this is. What a special time. This is one of the, you realize this is like the only comedy club in the world that is open right now. This is absolutely true, only because New Brunswick, basically, I know we had a few blips, but New Brunswick basically won. For the first time ever, New Brunswick was #1 at something. I know. We've been #1 for a year, like it's amazing. Right now, there's 0 new cases in the entire province today. And I'm phoning my friends in England, they're going, James, it's going really good here. We're down to 1,000 deaths a day on my street. And the politicians here, they tried to take credit, didn't they, for the last 12 months of success. The politicians, they're like, oh, yes, it was all us, it was all us. We know the real reason why New Brunswick did well, don't we? Yes, it's very simple. It's because here in New Brunswick, we have been fucking socially distancing for decades. They're like, okay, everyone, okay, to save this, to save everyone, you've all got to stand 2 meters apart. We're like, yeah, no shit, that's why we live here. And the simple fact, like I say, with my friends in England, and I'm sure you've got friends in Toronto, just thousands and thousands of cases, and here people would be like, there'd be 1 new case, and everyone would be on Facebook going, what the fuck, how did this happen? What the fuck's going on? It's like thousands of deaths everywhere else. The simple facts that we were actually bothering to and able to track people. The fact that we were able to, like, do you remember when there was someone organised an event called the Super Spreader event in December? Do you remember that? That was asking for trouble, right? But the simple fact that we live in a place where the front page of the newspaper, they're able to kind of actually track where the person went to see if we, like, that would be just below people's minds in other parts of the world. It just wouldn't. Did you see it? Front page TJ, it was like, were you in Five and Dime between 9 and 10? Were you in Churchill's between 10 and 11? Were you in the St. John Ale House between 11 and 12? At 12 to 1, did you go to the Tim Hortons on Waterloo Street to buy some drugs? Before ending your night at Freddy's Pizza? If so, you might have come into contact with COVID. I'm reading this going, I don't know about... All I know is, I want to fucking party with this geezer. This guy knows how to have a good time. Never mind shunning him or making him isolate or exiling him to British Columbia. Fuck that. That night out should have been sponsored by fucking Discover St. John. The official Colton Cronk Night Out, brought to you by Discover St. John. It's a good idea. Oh, wonderful. It's beautiful. But it's a minefield out there, isn't it? I mean, this is the thing. We all want to be safe. We want to be careful. We want to be sensible. But there are people losing their minds out there. I was walking down King Street literally this morning, right? And I mean, it's a wide road. It's wide, isn't it? It's very wide. I'm walking along wearing my mask. I see a guy walking towards me also wearing a mask. We're safe. We're safe. It's outdoors. It's safe anyway, but we're masked. We're distanced. Everything's safe. He sees me. He's about 30 meters away. I shit you not, he jumps into the road to avoid me, almost gets hit by a fucking bus. People are forgetting there's other shit to die from. It's not just, you don't just die from the COVIDs, there's other things, people just forgetting that. And then doing anything, there's the people that want to be so righteous and like going to showbiz is a minefield. Isn't it? Like, who knew that would become like following the lines? I'm following the lines, and then every now and again you get to the end and then you're like, oh, the arrow's pointing that way, but the ketchup's just there. Is anyone looking? Is anyone? Ah, shit, no, and then you go, oh, just go, can I go backwards again? Can I go backwards again? That literally happened to me. These women are giving me these dirty looks. They're like, because of the New Brunswick mask and the stupid eyebrows, right? They're like, it's him, it's that stupid British comedian. I saw him, he was going the wrong way. It was definitely him. He was going the wrong way, and I'm shitting myself, going, "Oh my God, this is a nightmare." And then I go to the line-up, and I'm standing there trying to get through, and things were slow at Sobeys before anyway, weren't they? It's not like, because in England, right? In England, there's obviously millions of people, but you go into a grocery store in England, and there'll be a line-up of 100 people, but blink and it's gone, because no one talks to each other, no one makes eye contact, we barely even grunt at each other, right? Even before COVID, it was slow here, right? You'd go into Sobeys and you'd scout out what's the best line for you. You'd be like, a few too many people in that line. Yeah, not doing that. Or there's a lady with a basket, right? One basket, that won't take long. You get closer, you look in the basket, full of fruit, isn't it? Shit that needs weighing. Not falling for that again, no chance. Then you spot the perfect line, one lady, one milk carton. You think, this is the line for me, perfect. You're texting your partner, I'll be in and out in 2 minutes, in and out in 2, no problem. One lady, one milk carton. But what you haven't banked on is that Mavis there with the milk hasn't seen Doris the cashier for a couple of weeks. And she wants a blow-by-blow account of what went down at Chase the Ace last week. And you can't kick off, can you? In London, you can start a riot over that shit. Not here, we have to just go... don't need to be anywhere, anytime, no. So suddenly now, it's even worse. I'm in the line, freaking out. The ladies behind me are slagging me off, going, he went the wrong way. Typical Brits, they don't respect the COVID rules. Typical, that's why they've had all those new strains over there, right? And I'm all panicking. I think I've got to get out of it. And then horror upon horrors. I felt a fucking cough coming on, didn't I? Who knew that would become the most terrifying thing in the world? I'm more scared to cough in Sobeys than I am to pull my dick out and start wanking, frankly. I would feel much more comfortable if my dick was wearing a mask, obviously. What do you think these are for? I'm there and I feel the cough coming and I'm like, oh my goodness, and my eyes are watering, I'm trying to hold the cough in, and then, thank goodness, at the last second, I felt a fart brewing at the exact same time. Yeah, saved by the stink, ladies and gents. Remember the good old days? The good old days when we would cough to cover up our farts? Not anymore, no. Now we're farting to cover up our coughs. That is the very definition of the new normal, right there. And I'm sorry for saying the new normal. I'm going to try and avoid using any of those terrible phrases that we're all sick of hearing over the last 12 months. We are sick of hearing new normal. We're sick of hearing pivoting, unprecedented. We're all in it together. It's always the politicians on full salary, sitting at home doing fuck all. We're all in it together, are we, you pricks? Are we? Hand it over then, right? All those phrases that Trudeau would come out with. Remember the start of it when it was all new to us? Like basically this time a year ago, every day at 12, Trudeau would come out of his house, wouldn't he? He would come out. Every day we'd all be tuning in. It'd be 12 noon every day and Trudeau would come out for his daily cash giveaway. We'd all be sitting there with our virtual scratch cards going, if it's us today, are we gonna be in today? And Trudeau would come out and he'd be all stern and then he'd be all proud and he'd be like, we got money for you, money for you, money for you, money for you. He sat there going, you got anything for British comedians living in New Brunswick? No. fuck all again, just $2,000 a month for the students that haven't done any fucking work in their life and haven't paid any taxes. Okay, Shudo, carry on, mate. Carry on, mate. Maybe tomorrow it'll be a rollover. Oh, God, that nice, the cash printing house he's got there. That's going to be... Thank you all for agreeing to be on film tonight, by the way. I said I've been looking forward to this for a year. It's actually been 3 years in essence. I filmed my last stand-up special 3 years ago, spent 2 years writing the new one. It was supposed to be filmed tonight a year ago at the Imperial Theatre, and then it was postponed 57 times in a year, and then cancelled, like most things. So just to actually be here on stage, it's a fucking dream. So thank you all for being here. I've been genuinely... and I really appreciate, and I hope everyone knows that they were going to be on film. I hope no one is here with someone they shouldn't be. If, for example, this is not your partner, if anyone here is fucking someone they shouldn't be, just let us know and we'll make sure we cover you up from the film. Well, we can do that, can't we? Tyler Warren Ellis, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Warren Ellis. If you've ever watched either of my Harbour Station specials, he filmed both of those. And Tyler, a St. John filmmaker, born and bred, in his 20s, just won an award at the Chicago Film Festival for a documentary. Yes, local talent in the house tonight, ladies and gents. But yes, it has been a mindful, and that's the other thing. I think what confuses us all, like being in those Sobeys lines up and all these things, is it's all the mixed messages that we get from the government, because we're trying to do the right thing and follow the rules. But I mean, understandably, they don't really know. You know, they haven't been through this before. But it's the mixed messages that confuse us, because we're like, so what happens? Oh, so we're not allowed to cough and sneeze on strangers anymore, is that right? Right? They're like, you're no longer allowed to cough in someone's face in the Walmart anymore. You can't stand right up behind them and on their neck. No. What you have to do now, if you need to cough or sneeze, you do it in there, right? So we're like, okay, got it. So not here. No, not on someone's face, not in your hand, in there. We're like, okay, got it. Oh, what if we see someone we know in the street? Glad you asked. No more handshakes, no more hugs. You have to do the COVID handshake. How does that go? Like this. Hang on a fucking minute. So we're putting all the coughs and the cold and the COVID in there, and then we're fucking rubbing it on everyone. This is the dirtiest part of my entire body. Right? I'm coughing in it, I'm sneezing in it, I'm wiping my ass with it. My hands are fucking spotless. These have been washed 50 times a day, sanitised 75. You could eat your dinner off this. This is fucking filthy. Rubbing it on everyone. And of course that is globally known as the COVID handshake, isn't it? That's the COVID handshake globally. Have you seen the New Brunswick COVID handshake? It's slightly different. You might have seen it. You might see it tonight. You might see it tomorrow, right? I've seen it a lot, right? It goes a bit like this, right? It's a bit similar. You'll see two people in the street. They maybe haven't seen each other for a couple of weeks. Or maybe they haven't seen each other since COVID. It's like, ooh. And then like sometimes you briefly forget what we've all been going through. Like they see each other and they're like, ooh. And they run towards each other, briefly forgetting the predicament we're all in. And as they get closer, they're like, ooh, and their hands go out. And then at the last second, they remember, they're like, ooh. So then they remember what we've been instructed to do. So they start to go in for the COVID handshake like this. And then at the very last second, they both in unison go, fuck it. And it is always followed up with the sentence, we're in a bubble. How big is this bubble? I'm pleased to hear you laughing at this. There's some laughs of recognition. I mean, this is one of the problems of the last year is, of course, I've had no ability to road test any of this material before filming it because this was illegal until like 2 days ago. So, I have no idea if you're all going to go, no, I've never seen that, James. And it was terrifying. I mean, it was literally tonight a year ago. I was supposed to be filming at the Imperial. It was the day before the lockdown happened. The day before, it was yesterday, a year ago, of course, as we all know. In fact, the day that it was announced as Pandemic Day, Global Pandemic Day, was the 11th of March. My fucking birthday now forevermore will be remembered as Pandemic Day, right? That has been taken away from me. And of course, I mean, it was, at first it was confusing, then it was terrifying. I mean, basically, 2 years worth of gigs just completely disappear. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm not going to say pivot, but I was trying to find other things to do. We did drive-in shows last summer. We tried... Oh, Gary said, thank you for being there. Hey, guys. Hey, Gary, how's it going? My good friend Gary here. I hang out at his trailer at the Sussex Drive-In. That's right. This is how it's... Yeah, see, we're all fucking family in here. I do know exactly who everyone is here, by the way. I spend enough time on Facebook. I know exactly who's in here, right? I recognise all of you. It's lovely to see you all. We did the Sussex Drive-In, and again, I'd actually never been to a drive-in before. I'd never been to one. I'd seen them in movies. I'd seen it in Greece. So all I knew of drive-ins is you go there and you get sexually assaulted by Danny Zuko in the back of a car. That's why I went. I'm a big fan, right? So I'm there. So my first time ever at a drive-in, and I'm on stage I was first on as well. So my first time at a drive-in, I'm on stage at the drive-in. Have no idea how it's going to work. And of course, it's weird. You can't see people. You can just see headlights. And I would do a joke. And of course, there was nothing even coming through the PA. So I'm just talking into what seems like a dead mic. And it's going into cars. But we quickly kind of together, through osmosis or something, worked out a system whereby I would do a punchline, and then people would honk their horns and flash their lights to tell me that they were laughing. It was a bit like doing a gig in a Disney Cars movie. And I literally started to pretend that the cars were people, like when you're watching Disney Cars, right? Anyway, you have to worry about shit in those gigs that you would never have to worry about anywhere else. I'm halfway through the show, and I'm mid-sentence, and everyone starts honking aggressively, and I'm like, what is going on? And I can't figure it out, and they of course can't shout at me, and I have no idea, and it's getting louder and louder. And then I look down, and there's a raccoon following me around the stage. That never normally happens in gigs. It's not something I normally have to worry about, right? And I'm like, this is ridiculous, and it starts chasing me around. But that wasn't as bad as I then after that started moving into doing these Zoom gigs. I don't know if any of you have seen what a Zoom gig entails. For stand-up, basically what it entails is everyone's kind of muted, but I can see all their faces. So I have a setup in my living room with a stage and a mic and everything, and I can see all their faces, but they're muted, obviously, so that the sound doesn't distract everyone, so I do the joke. So basically, for the last 12 months, because I live for this part of the job, obviously, right? It is what I live for. I've had to replace this for just a visual of people going... That's literally what I'm looking at all these screens of people, and they forget that I can see them. So they're in their hot tubs, they're sat there in their underwear. I was doing one. The boss gets. I mean, it's just a nightmare. So I'm doing one last June for the president. It's called the President's Organization. It's like this. I think it's a global organization where CEOs and presidents basically come together and they meet up once a year and they do a big kind of conference. And it was supposed to be in Banff, and of course it couldn't happen. It was supposed to be at the Fairmont Springs. And so instead they did it all virtually. So they had Pete Luck. So it's basically CEOs and presidents from across North America, about 100 of them. They did a wine tasting with Pete Luckett, and then they had me doing the stand-up. So similar system. I can see all their faces. They're all muted. I'm up there. I'm doing my thing, and then I'm halfway through a story. It's that point, like now, when you're just looking at me with these blank faces, right? You look at me going, get to the fucking point, Mullinger. It's been about 20 seconds since the last laugh, and frankly, we're getting a bit fucking... That moment of just, right, and I'm mid-sentence, and out of the blue, they all just burst out laughing, right, in unison. And I'm like, this is weird. I've not said it. Either I've got very good at this, which is highly unlikely, or something's happened, right? And I'm looking down, and I'm thinking, it can't... They're all in different parts of North America, in different places, so it can't be like they've done something together. And I'm trying to figure out, and as I'm looking like this, they're laughing harder and harder, and I can't figure out what... And as I'm doing this, they're laughing even more, and I turn around. My 7-year-old son, River, is standing there waving his dick out there. I know! When have I ever had to worry about that happening in a club? Never have I been in a theatre thinking, I hope a 7-year-old doesn't come out and wave his cock at the audience. And he's standing there like this, and I'm like, yeah, and he's loving the fact they're all laughing, he's loving it, right? Never once. You know what really hurt? I've been doing this job 19 years, and what really hurt is that I have never seen an audience laugh harder than they did at my 7-year-old's dick. That's what really bothered me. And it kind of made me think, well, maybe when I'm eventually allowed back on the road in the year 2029, right? Maybe I might take him with me, right? Anytime a gig's going badly, just wave him out. Wait, River, come on out. And then River just comes running out. Fucking yeah! Fucking yeah! Fucking yeah! Obviously, he wouldn't be saying fuck yeah. He wouldn't be doing that because we raised him properly, obviously. He wouldn't be using language like that. He'd probably more likely to be saying something like, how many Paw Patrol toys am I getting for this again, Dad? Probably more what he would be doing. And then the other thing that was... It was just weird. This time a year ago, like there was parts of it that were fun. Parts of it was kind of like Christmas because you're kind of trapped at home with just loads of booze, but there's no bastard relatives showing up. So it was kind of like this is actually cool. You were just kind of, but then people were doing weird things. There was funny memes were being sent, but the weirdest thing was this obsession with like pandemic movies. Friends all over the world would be messaging me saying, "Oh, James, you've got to watch this movie, Contagion." Contagion, do friends tell you to do this? Contagion. Everyone started watching pandemic movies. My friends are going, "You've got to watch Contagion, James. It's just like this." And I'm like, what? A 10-year-old movie by Steven Soderbergh starring Gwyneth Paltrow. I look on Netflix. It's like #1 globally on Netflix. It's been there for years, but everyone's watching it because it's supposed to be just like this. I watched that movie. Nothing like this. There was not a single scene in that movie where a family of 4 did not leave the couch for 7 days because they were eating industrial-sized bags of Chicago mix and drinking boxes of wine for breakfast. Nothing like this. Absolutely nothing like this. I got very, very into the boxes of wine. I wasn't a big box of wine drinker, but I think AMBL were shrinking the wine bottles. They were going very quickly every morning, so I shifted to the boxes. I had my first box of wine. It was like March the 15th, right? We were a couple of days in. First one, and I'm standing at the sink, sucking the bag. Done that, it ripped to the shreds of the box on the floor. Got the bag, got the teat of the bag. I'm like milking the bag. Sucking out those last few drops. And then my eyes darted over to the clock on the oven. It said 10:15 a.m. Oh, it's time to start the homeschooling, kids. Question number 1, how much has Daddy drunk this morning? Look on the box, look on the box. And my friends in England, they are still homeschooling. I mean, the kids briefly went back and then they were back. They are homeschooling. My useless friends are homeschooling their kids. I spoke to my mum in England yesterday and she put it beautifully. She said, oh my God, she said, if you think England's fucked right now, James, she said, just think, in 20 years, this country is going to be being run by people that were homeschooled by alcoholics. Pretty much sums it up, yeah. We were drinking too much, we were eating too much. My wife was, she after about a few months of this, she was like, we've got to get in shape, this is getting out of hand, we're just eating pizzas all day, drinking all day. And I was like, and she was like, I said, I can't think about that now. And she was like, well, I've read about this thing called intermittent fasting. Have you heard about this? She goes, intermittent, she goes, it's great. She goes, you can eat and drink what you want for certain hours of the day, but then you don't eat for like 14, 15 hours straight. And I was like, oh, I don't think I could do that. But she did it. She's actually done it for about 9 months straight. When I say she's done it, what I mean is she passes out drunk at 9 p.m. every night. And she's too hungover to eat till 2 p.m. the next day. Works an absolute treat, apparently. What else happened last year? I mean, of course, the big one for us as a province was, of course, that the Cannabis NB turned a profit for the first time ever. Yes, that's a wonderful thing. Because as I'm sure you're all aware, prior to the global pandemic, the New Brunswick government were the first people in world history to lose money selling drugs. Who even knew that was possible? I thought it was generally understood that legal or illegal, if you were willing to take a risk and sell drugs, you have the chance to make a lot of money. Not these fucking shitheads. No, they were using our taxpayers' money and hemorrhaging cash selling weed in New Brunswick. Have you ever met anyone that has sold weed in New Brunswick and lost money? No, it doesn't. It's never happened before, but they fucking managed it. But the tide turned. The tide turned. They turned a big profit because all they needed to turn a profit, all they needed was to tell everyone to stay home. You can't go to work. There's a load of free money. You can't leave the house. And this thing we would have arrested you for a year ago is now an essential service. And I think what I love so much is that, it's been weird for the last year, all of us having to worry about the same things as the rest of the world. Because if you think back to just over a year ago, the stuff that we were worrying about here was nothing. It was so different. Like, you look at the rest of the world, you look at the standards that we hold people to here. I mean, in January last year, President Trump was still president, comfortably as the president, right? A racist, rapist, sexist, homophobe who was literally about to start World War III. I mean, literally, COVID actually saved the world from World War III. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson cheated his way into the Prime Minister role in the UK. Again, a racist, sexist, homophobe that had numerous kids by different women, denied it, refused to pay for them, right? Both of them were sitting comfortably in their jobs. And meanwhile, here in the GSJ, poor old Quiz Pam Sis Mayor couldn't even go for a fucking swim without getting impeached. Poor old Gary Clark, it's his fucking pool. It's the Quiz Pam Sis Plex. If he wants to use a fucking false name to get in, let him. But no, we hold our elected officials to a very high standard here, don't we? Oh, yes, we do. Oh, no, I mean, think of what Boris Johnson and Donald Trump would be up to in there with Prince Andrew, right? They would not just be cheating to get in to save $3 to go for a fucking swim. But no, Gary Clark, he gets impeached. Impeached for that. But you know what? We all know what the real issue was. The real reason why everyone in Quiz Pam Sis was up in arms about that was because on his little piece of paper he wrote down an address in fucking Rosso. That's what did it. That's what did it. You can't mess with it. That is the one. It's funny. Most of the wars around the world stopped due to COVID, didn't they? I haven't heard. What have ISIS been up to? Who knows? ISIS have disappeared. They're like, we got to wear a mask. Well, we were wearing them anyway, but fuck it. ISIS gave up that World War, the Iranian geezer that Trump killed illegally. They were about to start a war. COVID came. They said, fuck it, right? All those wars were put on hold. The only wars that weren't were the Rosse Quiz Pam Sis wars. Oh, no. Let's continue. But it's not just them. I mean, it's all around. I mean, everywhere. It's like East Side St. John versus West Side. Kingston Peninsula have been at war with Grand Bay Westfield for years. Always fighting. We've got more incest. No, we do. And then the other thing, of course, everyone was talking about a year ago that's been forgotten now was, of course, that Harbour Station got a new name, didn't it? Harbour Station got a new name. You sure you heard? Of course, it will forever be known as where Harbour Station... You see? It ain't just fucking singers that do sing-alongs. We can do karaoke comedy any day of the week. Anytime I need a little break, we're Zellers. Hey, lovely. Come on, Trish, let's see the T-shirt. Come on, get up. Trish, look, this is my friend Trish here. Look at this. Where Zealous used to be. Beautiful. Trish and her awesome husband went around America wearing that T-shirt, posing in front of basically every kind of wonder of the world in that T-shirt. And massive kudos to you. Yes. It was the Harbour Station. Of course, I'm sure you heard the story. It was big news a year ago. We all just forgot because of the pandemic that basically the home of the Sea Dogs was in trouble. So TD Bank stepped in to save it. Now, until they landed on the new name, for a long time, it actually had another name that had been agreed upon, signed upon. They made signs made, everything. It was all signed and done. It was because both sides wanted their piece in it. So it was called the Sea Dogs TD Centre or STD Centre. I mean, only in St. John would someone propose to call our hockey arena the STD Centre. Until they realised that when you Google STD Centre St. John, it doesn't come up. What comes up is the Sexual Health Clinic in the North End, which, ironically enough, has a longer fucking lineup outside it every day than Harbour Station's ever had. In actual fact, I actually didn't sell out Harbour Station. I actually just told people we were fucking clap testing. People laugh harder when they're scratching, that's all I'm saying. I spent an hour in Harbour Station today. I've actually spent 4 hours today watching live hockey, watching my children. This is the thing, this whole kind of like orange to yellow to red, then back to orange and green, and then changing what they all mean. Like, I think the New Brunswick government map of what the colour charts mean looks like a fucking Jackson Pollock painting. Just kind of, everything's just all mixed up. And this is the weird thing, is there's some things that I prefer in other, like, I'm very glad that we are now in the yellow, that allows this to happen, albeit at 50% capacity, but we're still having fun, right? We're still having fun. That's me telling the audience on the album and stand-up special why the laughs aren't louder, because we're at 50% capacity. Just fucking tell them, right? No, that's my... Right? This I like. I like that we're back. Unfortunately, by being back in yellow, it means that I have had to spend 4 hours today freezing my arse off watching my fucking children playing hockey not very well. I'm just saying, can we not figure out a yellow that involves stand-up comedy? Yes, children trapped at home leaving me alone. My kids spent the entire lockdown just I wish they would watch movies. They refuse to watch, like, scripted... I'm like, I bought Disney Plus, they won't watch it. All they want to watch is YouTube videos of other children playing with the fucking toys that they have. Where did this weird obsession... They're watching other kids, these fucking screeching, shrill scumbags, watching these kids playing Minecraft. I'm like, you go and play Minecraft. I bought you Minecraft. Play Fortnite. No, I want to watch someone else playing Fortnite. Why? It's just morning, and I've never understood it. Like, why is it? You've got that toy upstairs. Why are you watching someone else play with someone else, like, opening a toy when you've got that? And then I thought, well, I can't really criticise, because it's a bit like grown-ups and porn, isn't it? We've all got someone upstairs. But sometimes you want to watch someone else's get unwrapped. And played with hard. It's just... And I'm just looking at it, and it's brainless nonsense, and it's just it's poorly shot, and it's just awful. And my son's like, well, Dad, look, this was uploaded this morning, 20 million views. How many views have you got on YouTube, Dad? Motherfucker, right? All I'm saying is, the next time I record one of these, I am coming out here unwrapping a fucking Kinder Egg or playing Fortnite on the screen behind me. Just to get those views up. I think, and I will say this, I've stopped complaining about people are saying where things used to be, because I do it, and I've now been here long enough that I'm naming places. Because I've been here 7 years now. In most buildings, I've been through 5 or 6 different businesses since. So I feel like I'm one of you. But I've seen worse ones since. I mean, have you ever tried asking for directions in Sussex? Yeah, no, I mean, nothing used to be there. Okay. It is worse. I was there, literally there, doing a show right before lockdown, last January, because my career is going exactly as well as I pretend it is on Facebook. And I said to someone, mate, do you know the way to the Sussex Legion? He goes, yeah, no problem, right? And I swear, word for word, this is what he says. He goes, go to the end of this road and turn left at the tree where Donnie crashed his bike in 78. No, I don't. Last February, I'm trying to find an orthodontist in the North End with my oldest son, walking along. I don't have the address, I just know the rough vicinity of where it is, right? And I see a guy smoking a dart on the doorstep, and I said, excuse me, mate, do you know where this orthodontist is? And he goes, I don't know exactly what street. He said, 2 or 3 blocks that way, just look for the big red house on the corner. I said, lovely. I went up, walked about 20 blocks, no red house, came back, no sign of it. I find this guy again. I said, mate, I'm walking up and down. I cannot find this road with the big red house anywhere. Swear to God. He goes, oh no, it's not red anymore. To say, I think, and to answer the question that I've been asked so many times, and you've been asked, you moved here from the UK how many years ago, if you don't mind me asking? 7 months. 7 months ago! Did you bring the fucking strain of COVID with you? Welcome, let's say it together, welcome. Because, and how many times have people said to you, why the fuck did you move here? Every time. This is the first time you've heard welcome, isn't it? So here, I'm just going to help educate everyone tonight. Next time, when you meet a newcomer, rather than why the fuck did you come here, right? Here's how you do it, right? Watch this. You can have this, right? Oh, what's brought you here? Easy, right? What brought you here? Love, beautiful. This is Danica, who's an amazing St. John artist as well. You should follow her on... Yes, you are, aren't you? Yes, you should follow her on Instagram. What is your Instagram account? Danica Vertour, follow her. I follow her, and she's an amazing artist. This is happening now. This meeting. I don't want to do a New Brunswick, but 7 months here. Well, welcome, and you enjoying it here?
I am. Yeah.
What is your favourite thing about St. John? The snow! Wonderful. Are you referring to the shit that they sell at Tim Hortons on Waterloo Street? You're shaking a bit, eh? The snow's pretty good down there. It's a bit methy, but... but it's nice. And sincerely welcome. I mean, one of the many things, I mean, again, my wife is from here, but it was me that really begged to come here. She didn't want to come back because she knew what it's like. But for me, I mean, it was definitely a quality of life thing. I wanted to come to a safe place. And I'm from South London, I'm sure you know the Tooting area, which again, I was very happy in Tooting, but it was crime-ridden. I mean, every day there would be stabbings, shootings, murders, and it would happen on the street, and you wouldn't even be aware of it. And then I came here, and I'm like, this is a safe place. Now, I get that there's problems everywhere, but by comparison, this is very safe. It's just a fact, right? And people would say, no, James, it's actually very dangerous in St. John. Now, my first year living here, right, and I have this newspaper clipping on my wall. My first year, there was 1 shooting all year. It said, police probe, first shooting in over a year, right? I know what some of you are thinking, right? You're thinking, oh, well, no shootings is better than 1. Fair point, right? But if you're going to have 1 shooting, this particular one, fucking beautiful. Bear with me, right? The guy was shot in the leg, right? And but he wouldn't press charges. He was quoted in the newspaper. They interviewed him in the hospital. He wouldn't press charges because, and I quote, he said, "My mate did it by accident at the camp." That's right. We have one shooting in 12 months, and it is because there's a guy on a four-wheeler quad bike trying to do a wheelie over a lake. Bottle of rum in one hand, shotgun in the other, misses the moose's face and get his mate in the leg. On the Kingston Peninsula, obviously. Beautiful. But people still wouldn't believe me. They're like, "Oh, no, James. There's actually very dangerous parts in St. John, very dangerous." And they said, "You obviously haven't been down Waterloo Street then." And I said, "I have. I've been down Waterloo Street many times, right? And the worst that's going to happen is you might see someone sitting on a doorstep drinking a bottle of whiskey at 10 in the morning with a few less teeth than they'd like." Nothing wrong with that. Freedom of choice, right? Might join them. Nothing wrong with that. But then when you say that, they'll go, "Oh, no, you've got to go after dark. You've got to go after dark." And I thought, well, I can't be swanning around telling everyone it's safe here if I haven't checked for myself. So I went down Waterloo Street, not once, but 3 times at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yes. Sponsored by Discover St. John. Now, I did this because the scientific experiment doesn't count unless you do it 3 times. And I did this just so you don't have to. But let's face it, guys, if you all want to have a lock-in tonight, we can all stick together and go and do the walk down Waterloo Street together. Let's face it, we're in a bubble. If you're having an orgy, can you invite 15 people? Or 14? How many? Where is it? You can have 14... If you're having an orgy, who has had an orgy recently with their steady... They're steady. How many dicks am I allowed in my mouth? Is it 14 or 15? Does anyone know? And do I have to be wearing a mask? Someone please text Jennifer Russell and ask the important questions that need answering. Sorry, some of this is not going in the special, obviously. And I have not been on stage for a year. I haven't been out of the house, so I apologise. Yes, so I walked down Waterloo Street 3 times at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm here to report, do not believe the hype. It is perfectly safe, right? I was walking down that street, walking along, minding my own business. This is how I walk sometimes. It's partly an English thing. Right? It's a Cockney walk, isn't it, right? Also because I have a hernia, that's part of it, right? That is part of it, right? Walking along. Now, and just mind your own business. I mean, don't get me wrong, you might have to stop now and again and say something like, no crack for me today, thank you. All good for the crack, thank you. All good for the crack, thank you. No, I don't want a blowjob, thank you very much. No, all set for the blowies tonight, thank you. All set for the blowies. Thank you. Nice tooth. All to the same person. Now, I'm sure Danica has kindly educated you on the ways. I mean, it is hard getting used to certain things, the word differences. I mean, obviously, as you know, we come here and it's like, is it the sidewalk? We would say pavement, boot of the car. Boot of the car in England, it's the trunk. Or is it the other way around? I've lost track. That's how long I've been here. That's a nice sweater here. It's a nice sweater. In England, it's a jumper, right? Jumper. And here a jumper's suicide, isn't it? Like it's all different words, right? It's just, we're getting used to it. Well, don't make the mistake I did, right? My first week living here, right, I went to see my wife's family doctor for life with an injured knee, right? And he said, take off your pants, I'll be back in a minute. See, pants in England are the underpants. Yeah, that made that first doctor's appointment pretty fucking awkward. Dr. Scott leaves the room expecting to come back to find trousers off. Comes back, I've taken off my trousers and my pants or underpants, right? But also I figured he was going to do I thought it was my first appointment since moving here. He must be having to do one of those, a tappy-tappy. Do you know what I mean? When you reach the... How old are you, by the way? 24, so you wouldn't know about this. Okay, so when you hit 40, you learn something new about your body every year. So when you turn 40, the first thing they do is they go, right, you need to come into the doctor's once a year, and he's going to do a little tap-tap on your testes. It's true, isn't it? Mark knows, right? So you go in, right, and he'll say, take off all your clothes, and you take them all off, and then he tries to make you feel at ease. He'll say something that he thinks makes you comfortable. It doesn't work. He's like, are you going on holiday this year? And every man in the world does the same thing. We all go, I don't know. She might have booked some in, I don't know. And at that exact point, he'll go, tap, tap on your testes, and you'll go, like that. It's a little treat, isn't it? It's a little treat. It's like you probably get a Thomas the Tank Engine sticker when you go to the doctors. We get a tappy-tap. So that's what I thought he was going to do. I thought I was having the tappy-tappy. That's why I took off all the clothes. I should, but I'm going to open some brackets here. I'll get back to the story. What was the story I was telling? I've forgotten now. Yeah, I'm going to... So that's I just turned 43 this week. You do learn something new every year. It's something new. That was 40. 41, that was probably the worst, right? Because for the first 41 years of my life, ladies and gents, for the first 41 years of my life, I would yeah, carry on. Yeah, lovely. For the sake of the recording, I will do that again. For the first 41 years of my life, if I went for a wee, as we would call it, or a pee, to translate, a pee, right? I would do the same system most people have. I would take out my member, right? Do a wee/pee, and at the end of the wee, do a shaky, shaky, shake. And if I was feeling a bit fancy, a bit posh, maybe get some tissue, dab, dab, dab. Dab, dab, dab. Put my member away, end of story, right? And that is probably how the average wee goes for you, right? Out of the blue, you turn 41. You go for the wee, you do the wee, shaky, shaky, shake, dab, 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 put your member away, a whole other piss happens! And I don't mean a little dribble, I mean a bigger piss than the one you just did! And there's no indication that it's there. Right, your bladder feels empty. Like, obviously, when it's happened a few times and you've completely pissed yourself, I mean, I've done it here tonight. You're pushing in the bladder, like, you're there, you do the wee, and then you're like, right, there's definitely nothing in there. Definitely nothing there. Definitely nothing there. I'll wait a few more minutes, maybe another shaky shake, dab, dab. Definitely nothing there. Put it away, massive piss. Every time. Every time. It's as if the wee is hiding in your willy, right? And as it's coming through, they're like, hey, hang on, lads, let's fuck with him. Hold on. And then they're like in there, and then it's like, oh, he's trying to shake us out. That won't work. That won't work. Oh, look, Diddums, he's trying to dab the top. Nice fucking try. Nice try, that's not going to work. Hang on, lads, I think he's putting us in. He thinks we're gone. He thinks we're gone. Hang on, are we in the underwear? Yes, I feel cloth. Go, 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 piss. Every time, I've tried everything, right? When I go to bed at night, I will sit down on the toilet for about 45 minutes. I'll literally sit down, I'll do a wee, and then read a book for 20 more minutes, do another wee, and then think that's probably it. But I've had nothing to drink since 12 noon. But I'll wait just in case, right? I'll wait another 20 minutes, stand up, pull up my pyjama trousers, massive piss. Every single night I'm walking into the bedroom, my wife's like, why is there a massive wet patch there? I'm like, oh, I was trying to wash my face and the water just spilled down. She's like, every night? Well, I will in the interest of medical, because the medical people have been busy this year with the COVIDs, and they've not been able to share helpful advice. So I will do a little medical tutorial here. I have found a little solution for this problem, if anyone else is indeed having it. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell if these are laughs of recognition or laughs of, holy shit, Mullinger's pissing himself. and thinks that we're laughing in recognition, but actually we're going, what the fuck? I mean, it is quite devastating that literally the same year I got my youngest son out of diapers, I need to go into fucking diapers. But I do have a tip. Here's the tip. You finish your wee, right? And you do your usual system, shaky, shaky, shake, dab, 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 right? And what you do is, if no one's about, right, you can talk to it. You can be like, oh, that was a jolly nice wee. I'm going to put you away now, right? And you start putting it away as you normally would, maybe a bit slower than normal, but he won't notice inside, right? But what it doesn't know is you've got your thumb over the elastic of the underpants, right? So as you get in and your member goes in, the second it touches the cloth, pull it out and the piss goes in the bowl. You're fucking welcome. See? Not just comedy, medical advice, ladies and gents. Anyway, sorry, I went off the point there. At the doctors, well, fuck it. That was 42. 42 is a whole different story. When I turned 42, I had no idea what was in store. I learned something very important. I learned this. I learned that for the first 42 years of my life, if I saw a man walking down the street with his hands down his pants like this, like going, ooh, ooh, I would have thought, go to Waterloo Street. But more likely, I would have thought, there's a pervert, call the police. And I'll just quickly... Right? I would have thought there's a pervert, right? It turns out it actually doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. You see a man walking down the street with his hands down his pants, it actually means fucking hernia. And how do I know that? Because I've had a hernia now for a year and a half, right? And I'm here to report, because when you go to the doctor and they say, oh, I'm going to have to dry this off, it's going to look weird on the film if suddenly I've got ridiculously wet hands. They're going to think that I stopped to do something disgusting midway through.
You're a problem.
So, yes, exactly. So I went in, and you know what, I was going back to lie to you and tell you how I got this hernia. I was about to tell you I lifted something, because you know what hernia is? It's where like the intestines burst through the wall of your stomach, right? Now I didn't know what it was. For my whole life, I'd basically heard people say, don't lift that, you'll get a hernia, but I didn't know what it really meant. Now I got one 2 years ago. I will tell you how. And I'll be honest, because it's not a very nice story. It was during, I would like to say I was lifting a bag of mulch or something. It was actually during a very angry poo. I know, and I apologise. I don't like to be crass. It was a very... I had no idea what was going on. I'm in the middle of a very violent shit, and you know the ones I mean. We've all had nice poos, haven't we? Like, you know the difference. Like, you know, the nice poo is one when you sit down. That's the great thing about going for a poo is it's the thrill of the chase. You never know what you're going to get. What's it going to be? Am I going to be in and out in 2 minutes? Is it going to be a day? We just don't know, right? You just don't know, right? And you sit down, and sometimes it's a really pleasant surprise, isn't it? You sit down, and it just kind of goes... And you get the paper, and you go like that, and you go, oh, nothing there! Save that piece for later. We don't need the 24-pack anymore from Costco. Just the 4-pack from Sobeys will do us from now, love. I'm saving us some money. It wasn't one of those. I was sat there and and then suddenly, out of the blue, this huge lump appears right there. This huge lump just pops. And I'm not a medical... I didn't know what it was. I'm not a medical expert. I just knew... I'd heard on the street that massive lump in groin area, not a good thing. So I'm all panicking, and I go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, yes, it's a hernia. And I said, well, we've got to get this, we've got to get this fixed ASAP. I've got shows coming up, and I can't stand there with this huge lump poking out. And he said, well, we'll do it as quick as we can. And I said, great. And he said, it's going to be kind of 9 to 10. I said, I can't do 9 to 10 tonight. I've got a gig. He goes, no, 9 to 10 months. Because I didn't know how the New Brunswick health system worked, right? And so I said, but what's going to happen? I said, everywhere I go, like, it's so visible, it just keeps popping out. What am I going to do when it pops out? And he said, don't worry about that. There's a very simple solution for this. I thought, oh, great, what is it? And he goes, every time it pops out, he said, just put your hand down your trousers and rub it back in gently like that. Rub it back in gently. So when you see a man walking down the street, please sympathise with him at first, because you have no idea what it was like for me for 6 whole months having to turn up at Kennebecasis Park Elementary School to pick up my children from school every day going, I'm here to get the kids. Where are the kids? I'm here for the kids. I want 2. 2 of them, 7 and 9 ideally. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, sorry, I went off the point now. My point, what I was trying to get to, was about the words differences. Okay, this is going to look very weird in the special. People look at suddenly. Why did his hand suddenly get? Did he have a wank and cut it out of the show? Yes. So. Close bracket, back to the point. So the point is, this was a devastating moment. The pants, we're back there, 15 minutes back there. The pants situation. Dr. Scott, my wife's family doctor for life, walked back in the room, right, not expecting to see any of this. And for some unknown reason, when he walked in the door, I think because it was my first week here, everyone had said, why the fuck did you move here? Then they said, oh no, you can't do comedy here. So maybe I was trying to be funny. All I know is he opens the door, and for some unknown reason, I did this. And now I'm banned from Dr. Scott's office. And I'm actually looking for a volunteer tonight to give me a tappy-tappy. Now, the reason I bring this up, I had told that story many times before, but I wanted to share it with you. The reason I bring this up is because in all my years being here, people, by now, I would have thought I knew everything. I would have thought that I knew all of the words differences, but it takes forever. I've been here 7 years, and only Christmas before last did I learn another one, right? And you will back me up on this, right? In England, this tuft of hair at the front here, this tuft of hair in England is called a quiff. For the sake of the camera, this is correct. It is called a quiff. Now, Danica may not have had time to tell you this, but it took me 5 or 6 years to learn that it does not mean that, and she maybe hasn't got round to it yet. It does not, quiff here is not front of hair, it is ladies' front bottom. It's the vagina. It's the vagina, right? Nobody told me this. Do you know how I found out? Christmas before last, right before lockdown, my wife and I are going to a 70s-themed Christmas party. Yes. And we are at her hairdresser's, and I swear to God, he turns to me and says, James, what should I do? What should I do? And I said, why don't you give her a nice quiff? To which he ingeniously, immediately replied, doesn't she have one already? Everyone else in the salon burst out laughing. I am completely confused, right? And then they obviously explain it to me. And we had a bit of a chuckle. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks, right? For about 4 years, I'd been doing a joke about what a stupid name for a place Quiz Pam Sis is, right? Because you can't say Quiz Pam Sis without sounding drunk, right? But you get pulled over by the cops, and they're like, were you speeding? No. Were you drinking? No. Where'd you live? Quiz Pam Sis. Get in the van. No, you were right not to laugh. It's not a great joke, right? Don't do it. But the point is, used to do it, right? Where that joke used to be. Anyway. So I would do that joke in all places around the Maritimes, and wherever I was, and in fact all across Atlantic Canada, I would do that joke, and people would come up to me after the show, whether I was in Gander, Newfoundland and Labrador, or in Pictou County, Nova Scotia. People would come up, and they would be like, oh, you said Quiz Pam Sis. Do you know what we call Quiz Pam Sis? And I'd be like, no. And they would go, Kiss Pam's Quiff. Kiss Pam's Quiff. And I always used to think, for years, I'd be like, well, what's funny about that? what is funny about kissing the front of someone's hair? Like, why is that a joke, right? And I would just have to stand there night after night going, no idea, right? And now what makes this even more bizarre is that my wife's name is fucking Pam. And yes, I have. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been absolutely lovely. I am going to leave you very, very shortly. It's almost in. I just wanted to sincerely say thanks for coming out and for kind of making history. Like I said, I mean, the only other place in the world where comedy clubs are open is New Zealand, right? And it's a long way to go for comedy. So let's hear it for Shane and Julie and everyone here at Punchline for opening safely. I can't believe that we're doing this. Friends all over the world are very jealous that we're able to do this. It is a joy that we're all here. I'd like to give a big shout out tonight. Is Rain here? Tanya's daughter. Where is Rain? Right here. We're here. Hi, how are you doing? It is very nice to meet you. Rain's mum, Tanya, was very excited about coming to the show, but I believe your grandmother is unwell. What's your grandmother's name? Marjorie, do you have your phone on you? I thought what might cheer Marjorie up is if we all said, get well soon, Marjorie. Tanya messaged me today. She's really looking forward to tonight's show. What's your boyfriend's name?
That's actually my friend's boyfriend.
It's your friend's boyfriend. Oh, shit! Fucking hell! Okay, Tyler, you better... Zoom in, Tyler, zoom in! Oh, nice work! I thought you were going to say brother... And I was then going to assume you were from the peninsula. That is beautiful, Rain. What is your friend doing tonight while you're fucking her boyfriend? Sorry? She's watching the baby. Sweet. Respect. Yeah. If you can't get it at home, yes. That's not what I think at all. That is not what I think. That is not what I think. Did she give permission for this rendezvous? Sure. She did, sure, yeah, no, bullshit. That sounds like a no. Well, Ray, it's very, very nice to meet you. Your mum, Tanya, is lovely. In a few seconds, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. You're going to start videoing, and you're going to stand up, pan around the room, and we're all going to shout. I'm going to say something like, "We've all got a message, haven't we, ladies and gents?" You all cheer, and then we all shout at once, "Get well soon, Marjorie." Do you think we should? Is it fun? Yeah. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Start filming. Yeah, you're going to have to delete some of the videos that you've been filming earlier of you and him before you get home. Okay. Sorry? Oh, she's there. It's live. Hello, Tanya. Hi, Tanya. How's it going? That was a bloody good idea. I was thinking of recording a video. Tanya, how you doing? Is Marjorie there? Oh, did she? She went upstairs. Listen, we're going to do a little video for her. I just wanted to say hi, and I'm sorry that you couldn't make the show tonight, but lots of love to Marjorie, and we're going to do a little video that Rain's going to bring back for you. Did you know that... No, and we love it. Did you know that Rain is with her best friend's boyfriend? Yeah, listen, just, you don't want to know what they've been up to. It's great. Okay, we're going to do a little video for you in a sec. I love you, Tanya, and hope to see you at a show very soon. Send love to Marjorie. Okay. Oh, no, I'm going to get my hernia. Okay. It's gone. I dropped it. I've got rid of it. Okay, so get the video going and we'll do this. That was a lovely idea. Okay. No one's got anywhere to be, right? No, it's fucking COVID. Where else can we... Okay, so... Oh, thank you. We are happy to be out of the house. Well, thanks for the glowing review of tonight's show. 1 star. We were just happy to be out of the fucking house. We would have laughed at anything, frankly. Whatever. It beats sitting at home crying. Okay. 3, 2, 1, action. Hello, Tanya. It's James Mullinger here. We have a message for Marjorie. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have a message for Marjorie? Yes! In 3, 2, 1. Get well soon, Marjorie. We love you, Marjorie. Get well soon. Lots of love. Take care. Happy day. I guess one thing I would say is be careful what you wish for in life, ladies and gents. I remember vividly today, a year ago, being absolutely devastated about what was happening. Of course, before even realizing that how bad the situation was. All I knew a year ago was that all of my kind of work for 6 months was being cancelled. But I remember vividly, weekend just passed a year ago, weekend before this one a year ago. I was in Vancouver having done a string of shows around BC, but I'd basically been on the road for 2 or 3 weeks, and that was my normal life, but I'd be sometimes away for 3 weeks, or sometimes I'd be away for 4 nights, then home for 3, and then away. And that was just the general cycle of it. And I love this job, of course, but I don't know people in other parts of the country, so generally I would finish a show and feel quite lonely. And I remember leaving that gig in Vancouver that Saturday night a year and a week ago and getting back to the hotel, and it was like 10:30 p.m. and had a fun show, met some nice people after, but back at this hotel, feeling quite lonely. I've been on the road for a few weeks, and I remember sitting on my bed and thinking, word for word, I remember thinking, oh God, what I would do for a bit more quality time at home with the wife and kids. I will never have that thought ever again, ladies and gentlemen. Frankly, I've spent the last year willing to eat a shit sandwich just to get the fuck out of there. So, just be careful what you wish for in life. And frankly, I think for a lot of us, it's that thing of like getting sick of pretending everything was fine. I mean, just having to pretend that everything was fine. Oh yeah, it's really nice. I mean, my mum sent me this news clip from the BBC. It was the 6 o'clock news on the BBC News in England, and they were interviewing a mum about what it was like homeschooling and having the kids at home all day and all night. And the mum didn't know it was live, right? So it's 6 o'clock news, and they're filming it live, and she's standing there, chatting in her kitchen. She's got a glass of wine in her hand, because she's English, right? And she's standing there, and she didn't realise that it's live. She thinks it's a pre-record. So she's there, and she goes, well, the thing about the coronavirus lockdown is that it's actually a really special time to really embrace this unique opportunity to spend quality time with your kids, because you don't normally get this special time. And I'm really just embracing having the kids at home and getting this wonderful time to really love them. And then at that point, this voice in the background goes, Mum! And she goes, fuck off! I was like, that's it. That is the last year summed up. Our house would just be a storm of just screaming and shouting and violence. And then the only time that it ever wasn't screaming and shouting and arguing was the 15 minutes a day that I'd be doing a podcast or a radio interview pretending to be happy. Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't get a laugh. It sounds a bit more like counselling. It's been a while. It's been a while. Okay, I would like to say this. Anyway, sincerely, thank you all for coming out. I can't remember. Yes. What's that? We miss you. I've missed you too, Mark. It's lovely to see you, mate. It's lovely to see you. I've missed you guys. I've missed all of you so much. I cannot believe, honestly, that we are actually doing this. What I just want to say is, at the start of this pandemic, when everyone was watching those pandemic movies and apocalypse movies all have one thing in common. And that thing is simply that when the world is in strife and the world is in trouble, everybody turns on each other. Neighbours are turning on each other. People are fighting and looting. People are trying to get whatever they can. But what we saw here in Canada was something completely different. We saw people looking out for their neighbours, looking after each other. We saw people reconnecting. We felt warmth and love. And I think that is the thing that we should remember from the last 12 months. Not all of the cancelled gigs, not all of the terrible things that have happened. Remember the fact that this was the time that it brought all of us as a country and as a community together. And most importantly, were it not for a global pandemic, I would never in a million years have got to see my 7-year-old son waving his dick at 100 CEOs. And for that, we should all be thankful, ladies and gentlemen. I've been James Mullinger. You have been amazing. Thank you very much, and good night. Cheers. Thank you.